Hello everyone. Today let's look at number 19. Master Guji's finger. This Hwadu is one of the famous Hwadu. First, the pointer. A single speck of dust contains the whole earth. And when a single flower blooms, the entire world unfolds within it. Be that as it may, how can one know what is before a speck of dust arises and before a flower blooms? Thus, it was said, it is like cutting a skein of thread. One cut severs the whole skein, and like dyeing a skein of thread, one dip dyes the whole skein. Simply cut off all words and language right now and reveal the treasure within yourself. Then high and low, it will flourish and expand everywhere. Before and after, there will be no contradiction, and your own capacity will be revealed without remainder. If you cannot yet do this, look to the main Hwadu. Now, today's Hwadu is this. Whenever Master Guji was asked a question, he simply raised one finger, like this. Why did Master Guji raise one finger in response to every question? There is a story behind Guji's one finger gem. Master Guji was from Kumha in Muju. In his early days, he lived alone in a hermitage. One day, a nun named Silje came to his hermitage. Without moving her traveling head, she entered directly, shook her staff, walked around his meditation seat 3 times, and said, "Say a word of Zen, and I'll take off my hat." She asked him 3 times, but Guji could not answer. So the nun turned to leave. Guji said, "It is getting dark. Why not stay the night?" The nun replied, "Say a word of Zen, and I'll stay." Again, Guji could not answer, and the nun left. Guji lamented, "Although I have the appearance of a man, I have none of the spirit of a great man." Determined to clarify this matter, Guji resolved to leave his hermitage and travel from place to place seeking accomplished Zen masters who could help him steadily. That night, however, the mountain spirit appeared to him in a dream and said, "Do not leave this place. Tomorrow, a living Bodhisattva, a true teacher in human form, will come and teach the Dharma to you. Do not go." Sure enough, the next day, Master Cholyong came to the hermitage. Guji welcomed him, bowed respectfully, and told him in detail what had happened with the nun Shilje. After hearing the whole story, Cholyong suddenly raised one finger before Guji. At that very moment, Guji awakened. Guji had been utterly sincere, and his mind had become completely concentrated on this one matter. Thus, as Jen said, the bottom of the bucket fell out at all once. All at once. From then on, whenever Guji was asked a question, he simply raised one finger, like this. This is the story of how Master Guji came to demonstrate his famous one-finger jam. After Guji attained this awakening, he continued to raise one finger in response to every question. Along with the story of his awakening, there is another famous story concerning a young attendant who lived with him. There was a young monk at Guji's hermitage. One day, someone outside asked him, "What dharma does your master usually teach?" The boy raised one finger. When he returned to the hermitage and told Guji what he had done, Guji cut off the boy's finger with a knife. Cut off the finger with a knife. Screaming in pain, the boy ran away. Guji called after him. And the boy turned his head. At once, Guji raised one finger. At that moment, the boy suddenly awakened. It is a startling story. Buddhism emphasizes compassion, so the idea of cutting off a young monk's finger with a knife seems extremely cruel and even contrary to Buddhist teaching. Regardless of whether this event literally occurred, however, this passage can be understood as a teaching that the truth of the Buddha Dharma is not something to be casually repeated for amusement. It also warns us of the law of cause and effect. If you speak carelessly about what you have not personally realized, or merely pretend to possess realization, we cannot escape the consequences. Hwadu practice begins with a sincere aspiration and requires honest practice through which one realizes the matter for oneself. If we treat it rightly as an intellectual game, an elegant topic of conversation, or merely an occasion for clever words. We cannot escape the consequences of doing so. So, everyone, what did Master Guji mean when he raised that one finger? Today, let's call it a day.